All right, before we start on Pong, I always like to do a brainstorming session. Let's brainstorm. Okay, so can I make Pong? That's a question. Can I make Pong? Well, I think that I will be able to make Pong, and I think you guys are going to be able to make Pong too by the end of this thing. So what is Pong? Well, let's think about it first. If we to know if we can make it, we got to understand what it is. So Pong is kind of, it's got this square, and there's two basic, things in it. You've got your two paddles. There's a paddle, and here's a paddle, and then you've got a ball. We've got our ball right here. Now, I think we also do have like a line that kind of goes down the center of it. Usually there's a line, So that's the basics. Oh, I'm forgetting. We also need to let players know the score. So probably one basic thing is a score. The other, so there's a score for player 1 and there's a score for player 2. We'll have a player 1 be losing to player 2. So we're going to need scores. We're going to need paddles. So the scores will be a variable that will add to, every time the green flags click, we're going to add to this variable. We're always going to show it. Whenever the ball gets past a certain, X, if it ever goes past X, for this guy, it's a point here. If it ever goes past X for this guy, it adds to this point right here. So we're going to need the ball being able to move, so it's probably going to be moving 10 steps. It's going to, when it hits these things, it's going to bounce off like some randomness. It'll bounce off, and then when it hits an edge, if on edge, it'll probably need to bounce. So there's a whole bunch of like little programming things I'm having to think about for this. I'll also need to make it to where if I press like W or S, it'll change the Y value on my paddle. If I go up and down, it'll have to change the Y value on this paddle. So I think I understand how to make Pong. But what can I do to make my Pong different? What can I do to make my Pong awesome? I've thought about this. One thing that always makes games cool is if there's a character for people to kind of identify with. So I was thinking maybe I make my paddles into characters. So let's come in and perhaps I add some eyeballs onto this guy. So maybe I put eyeballs on my paddle. How cool is that? Let's come in. I'll put a little bit of a highlight in there. And maybe I even go ahead and draw like a little smiley face too. Like when it hits the ball or the ball's coming at it, it could have a little smiley face. I think that could be kind of fun. Maybe make these guys like, I don't know, maybe make them red, and we'll make our field be green. That's kind of cool. Maybe make our things white there. So this is really like a concept that I'm doing. I'm trying to like figure out what would make my game cool. And this is it. I think another thing that would make it cool is kind of like having a bit of a trail on my ball, like going in there and having this thing like be boom 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 boom, like it's moving in a certain way. Like, boop, 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 boop. That'd be kind of cool. Like Crazy Cursor. You guys remember Crazy Cursor, right? So I could use all the programming that I learned on Crazy Cursor on this ball to give it a little trail. Ooh, I like that my paddle. Doesn't it look so much cooler than that thing? I could have one paddle be like nice, and I could have one paddle be like mean. Let's make this one be the mean one. Here, we'll come into this guy and zoom in a little on him. So it's always good to do concepts like this to try and figure out, what your game, what programming problems you're going to have, what artistic problems you're going to have. It's always good to, whether or not you do it in Scratch. So I'm just doing it in Scratch right now. But you could just be doing it in, on a pencil and paper. But it's just, this is called like the brainstorming process. You're just trying to figure out what makes your game cool, what problems you're going to run into, all sorts of different things. Oh yeah, that's looking mean. Let's Let's give him some eyeballs that are and maybe like a big old like oh, I like that. And let's go in there and get those eyes a little white. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. That's looking good. So you got one happy one, one mean one. Maybe we make this guy blue, like he's kind of looks like Cookie Monster, and this guy's so mean. So that can be kind of cool. I like this. I see this game coming together. So can I make Pong? Yes. I think I understand how to do it. Can you make Pong? Yes. I know you can. And can I do it differently? Well, I know I'm going to be able to do it differently. I'm putting eyeballs and everything. But what are you guys going to do? You can go and make this thing look any way you want. You can have it do anything you want. This is your game. So just, try to follow along, but don't forget to input your own creativity into it and talk to a UCode teacher if you have any problems at all. All right, let's get to making Pong.